Hello and welcome to my brief review of Motel Business Simulator. We are playing this on PS5 and it's on the store for $7.99. So from the images, you can see that it's a motel. It looks like it was kind of in the old 50s neon style. And at that sort of price, we kind of expected it to be a mid-range simulator. And I always think it's good to compare prices to what you would get in the real world versus the game. And so at £6, you probably couldn't even get 2 coffees. So my view here is that if I get even 10 hours of enjoyment or gameplay out of it, then it's worth its price. And I have played probably roughly about that time to be able to give some kind of updated opinions from my initial review. So the first thing I would say is that with a lot of simulators, there's a kind of grind element of repeating different tasks, and that does exist here, but it's not kind of aligned so that you can do everything within one working day. And the reason that I say that is that a lot of what you're going to be doing is actually furnishing the rooms and putting in consumables that meet your guests' needs. And what will happen is that guests will book in for a set number of hours and show you what it is they require of the room. Now, after they've left the room, after every single stay, the room will be in a bit of a state, so there's soil and stuff all over the floors. And certainly early game, it can be a little bit of a frustration that you only have one maid available and they are quite slow. So you have to go and assign them to the room to clean them. And although the progression levels are nice and quite well paced, it does tend to be that you'll spend quite a lot of in-game days getting your rooms ready for your guests and furnished with everything they would need, to then find that actually you have a different rank and more unlockables, and then the guests that turn up want those things, and so you have to refuse them, and that affects the overall reputation. Other things that I would point out just off the bat is that some of the mechanics can be a little bit frustrating, not game breaking, but for example, when you have deliveries, you can use this trolley to take quite a few over to your motel, which is all the way over there, but it is very slow. I'm not sure why it needs to be that slow. And so a lot of what you're going to be doing is basically moving boxes from one place to another. Now, in terms of simulators, that's not unusual. So if that's what you enjoy most about the simulator, then you're onto a winner with this one. So there is some inventory management, as you can see. You can purchase your stuff and store it nicely here so that you can restock your rooms throughout the working day. On some of the other simulators that I've played, you can kind of almost have your working day as generating income. And so there's an unhappy guest straight away. So in this instance, that's not really the loop that you'll experience. So because of the pace of cleaning the rooms and replenishing them, easy for me to say, you will find that you can't kind of efficiently turn rooms around within one working day. So my top tip there would be, during the working day, is buy everything that you need and take it out of the van, because the van will only deliver up to 10 p.m. My other top tip there is, if there's a particular thing that you're aiming towards, so if you've just unlocked another one of the motel rooms and you want to decorate it, then just order the things that you need, because otherwise you can't get everything onto one van delivery, and you'll find that you spend quite a bit of time just taking out the consumables and packing them away before you can get to the stuff you need. So if I were to open up the next motel room, then I'd want to buy all the basics. So let's head over there and have a look. So you can press R1 to run. As you can see, there's quite a big footprint actually. So we have a very busy car park that gives a little bit of Walking Dead vibes. It's just people milling around, and they're going to go to reception and want to book a room and give us their requirements. We start out with 3 rooms, and then we can unlock up to 12. And as you can see, as we enter the room, it will tell you what is in there and what condition it's in. So the guests will only use the consumables that they've paid for, which is quite nice. So if they say they require a face mask and a bathrobe, then you'll have to replenish them after their stay. If you get to the point, which I have, where it actually makes more sense to just put one of everything into the room, then they won't just rifle through it because it's effectively free. Consumables wise, toilet rolls will always need replenishing. You then get shampoo and soap. And what I've found is that you can leave some of your box goods in the rooms to make life easier as you go around replenishing. There are other things around the room, so there is a fridge, but there's no kind of stocking element to that, nor to the TV or the Wi-Fi. So we've got a bit of everything here. It looks like we're missing a pair of slippers, and we've got to the point where we even have room scents and aircon. So that actually moves quite quickly through the game. So early on, the guests are just going to want the bog standard basics of a bed, a toilet and a toilet roll. And so you can get people into your rooms fairly quickly. It soon, as I said earlier in the video, does progress to them wanting pretty much everything that you can access at that time. There aren't any decorating mechanics, certainly not that have been opened up or are visible in the menu at this time. So you've essentially got one of every type of thing. So the bed, the desk, wardrobe, fridge, which can make the rooms a little bit generic. I know it's a motel and this is on the lighter end of the spectrum, but it would have been nice to have a couple of different options, even if it was just to change the different types of beds. As we go into this room, I can show you what I mean about how the guests leave them. So they will book a number of hours per stay and pay for them, and this is what they'll leave behind. This isn't periodic, it's after every stay, so I've got some work to do here. So let's take that as an opportunity to show you our staffing options. Now I would say, although this game isn't kind of flagged as being in early access, I don't know what is on any roadmaps, if any, about what the game might progress into, only what it's delivering at the moment. So most of our interactions here are going to be via the reception desk, and if we go to the PC here, then you can see we've got a list of our rooms, and at the moment our rooms are not ready. So we got one ready room that's got a bit of everything in there. So let's start by seeing whether we can fulfill this guest's needs. So they would like all of those things. You don't have to worry too much about remembering them at the moment, because when you click on room list, you'll be able to cycle through your free rooms and see whether they're fulfilled or not. So this guest needs soap and a toothbrush set, which currently we only have one free room and it doesn't have those things. So this is where our restocking comes into effect. So we needed a toothbrush set and soap. So let's grab that from here. And it sounds like she has just left actually. So at the moment we can pop the toothbrush set on here, and actually looking at that, they've also broken the bath as well. So I'm going to pop that down there for later. So if something is broken, then you need to pick it up. And once you get out of the motel, you can press your circle button to pack it up. And there are some dumpsters over here, so we destroy that and we're going to have to then buy a bath. So that's more periodic in terms of the broken things. So let's head back over to what I was doing before I got sidetracked, and I'll show you the staffing. So that at the moment only
This isn't what I expected.
another unsatisfied customer. This only at the moment relates to a possible 4 cleaners. You originally start out with cleaner number 1, and as you can see, their cleaning speed is slow and they got a lower salary. Now that can take a fair old while. So in terms of what I was saying at the top of the video, it's not really the play through or the flow through of the game to be able to get guests in and out within the same working day. A lot of it is going to be preparation. So we can see there that we have 3 dirty rooms, rooms 2, 3 and 4. So unfortunately we are going to have to use the slow cleaner as well. To hire them, we press down so we select the room that we want them to clean, and we hold down X to assign them to the room. We can then go to cleaner number 3, click on them, select the room you want them to clean, and last but not least, let's get cleaner number 1 working on room number 4. So they will head over to those rooms. We'll see whether they're over there yet. You can see there's a troop of them heading over. So they, when they're not working, oddly kind of just stand around in a circle in what I presume is a staff room. And then what will happen is they will head over and start cleaning the rooms, and I'll just show you. It's a bit of an odd animation, actually. It's a little bit creepy. We got a full-on troop of cleaners there, so that is them cleaning the room. So we know we've got a broken bath in room number 1. So generally what you have to do is you have to either go round your rooms and physically look at what's missing. There is a list on the right hand side there. It's not the most obvious thing, I would say. And as you can see, the doors remain open until you get to them and then close. So what would I say overall about this game? When I first jumped into it, I thought actually this is a really good footprint and it could develop into a lot of different mechanics. And I'd hoped that actually it would be in the old American kind of 50s style. I mean, that's just visual. It doesn't affect the gameplay. But I think there's a couple of things that could be added to really kind of boost this. So it would be nice to have this big car parking lot to have some kind of features. So, for example, a swimming pool, something like that, or even some kind of planters and, you know, things like that where you could make it a bit more aesthetically pleasing. It would also be nice if you had some basic decorating options, so you could choose a couple of different wallpapers or different types of furnishings, things like that. And as I say, as far as I'm aware, this isn't early access. It is kind of the fully fledged game. And so just looking at what we can see on the menus in terms of what we can expect going forward, I've been playing for, I would say, about 5 hours in total. And a lot of that has been spent basically restocking. So I've only opened up 5 of the rooms out of a possible 12. It would seem that 12 rooms and 4 cleaners means that it's going to be a struggle to keep those open and available to guests. But I haven't really reached a point where the cache has been affected to the point that I can't actually buy things as they open up. It does feel a bit odd, certainly to me, to not be able to really on any given day have all of my rooms functional, even with just 5 at the moment. So rooms wise, we can see that we can open up to 12 and we can see the equipment in there, and that we're going to have to replace some things. So room number 1 has got a broken lamp as well as that bath that we needed to replace. Room 2 has only been open for probably 10 working days in game. That's got a broken bed and toilet. Room 3 has got a broken bed and toilet. And luckily, the other 2 rooms haven't got anything broken. So going back to what I said before is I would prioritise then when I come to order my stuff, which I will do next, is just loading the van up with the things that we need most. So we know that we needed 2 beds, 2 toilets and a bathtub in terms of the broken stuff we've got. So in order to buy those, we go over to the order tab and we can go ahead and we had 2 broken beds, we had a broken bathtub, and we had 2 broken toilets. So we've got a mixture of things here. We have got the fixtures and fittings, which only get broken periodically. And we've got consumables that we will need to replenish as the guests use them. So if I was to go ahead and order 5 of everything because I've got the cash to do it, because I know I'll need it to fulfill the guests' needs, then I would be emptying a van for quite some time and not necessarily getting straight to the stuff that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and order that so that you can see the delivery. Now, deliveries will only happen up till 10 PM, which is the end of the working day. And so even if you've got multiple deliveries, they will only deliver up to 10 PM. So let's show you this. So you do have over here the trolley to be able to stack multiple things, but that is very slow progress. It's actually more efficient to hold down R2 and run it over to your room. Now, whilst the cleaners are active, you can't actually replace anything. So that is why you'll see that around my motel. Well, that doesn't look like it's actually broken. I thought room 1 had a broken toilet. So you can, after you've placed things, you can pick them up and move them around. And so I will probably do that just to kind of make the rooms a little bit different. So what I found is that should you leave a lot of stuff packed up on your trolley in order to be able to take it all over and restock the rooms, at the end of the working day, that will... Did I buy a bed and not a bath? Oh dear. Well, I'm sure we'll get a broken bed at some point. So let's go and store that for now. So hopefully that gives you some insight into the gameplay loop. So it would be nice if we weren't kind of almost set up not to meet our guests' expectations, because we're certainly, until you get to the point that you've unlocked everything and are basically making sure that all your rooms have one of everything, then you're mostly going to be unable to... I'll just put this over here, sorry. You're mostly going to be unable to fulfill what your guests want, and that means that your reputation is going to suffer. As you can see, as we've been going through, although we've not actually rented a single room in the time that I've been filming this video, we still have kind of increased our reputation level a little bit. So the cash, as you'd expect, hasn't gone up because we are not renting out any of our rooms. We know that I didn't rotate that one. So we know that the guests that we had at the time, we couldn't fulfill even their requirements. And so we had to go and order new things. So it really is, at its core, it really is about replenishing the stock. So a lot of back and forth with boxes just to keep those rooms ready for your guests. Things that I would like to see that I think would add immediately to the game and hopefully wouldn't be too difficult is the opportunity to pause your vacancies, because you've got a steady flow of guests at any given time. There's probably 4 in a queue and they'll only wait for a certain amount of time, and when you go and see what it is they want, you either can't fulfill their particular needs at that time and have to go and restock rather quickly before they go away, or they just walk away somewhere else. So the reputation bit on the menu is here, and you'll probably see that mine is low because the customer flux is literally that we have no customers. So let's see how our cleaners were getting on. Back to the menu so we can go through that. We don't have any sorry, we do have 2 ready rooms at the moment, so they are fully stocked with all the things we see listed there. And actually, once we can get a guest in there, we get a nice bit of income. So it shows that the final price is going to be $1,829 per day. So that's nice. So that kind of makes up for the fact that you've not got a regular tick over of guests. Room 2 is not ready because we have a broken bed and toilet. So we've just bought those to be able to go and replace them. Similarly, in room 3, you could probably just see in the top right there that there are mandatory requirements. So these are the, forgive the pun, bog standard basics, because there's a toilet on there that's broken. So we need, if nothing else, we need a bed, a toilet and toilet paper. The guests are going to tell us what else they need. Room 4, again, doesn't have any broken equipment there, but it doesn't have any toilet roll, and that is going to generate less income because it doesn't have all of the good stuff that's in the other rooms. Orders we covered, so looking at what is available overall, it seems like within that kind of 5 hours of playthrough, which I've taken at quite a leisurely pace and been kind of recording videos and talking through as well, it looks like we've already unlocked all of the items that we can. It'd be nice to see that extend. Staff, we only have those cleaners, and as I'd mentioned, 4 cleaners for 12 rooms. At the speed that they work could be a problem. It would be nice to be able to hire other staff to do some of that stocking of the rooms. And finally, upgrade. As you can see, that just extends to the rooms at the moment. Now, I can't say for sure that there's not more that becomes unlocked, but that's what we can see at the moment. And it would have been nice, as I said, to have some options to add environmental stuff. So palm trees, swimming pools, planters, things like that. It would have been nice to have that in the game. But that being said, at the price point, it's £6, and you're going to get easily, I would say, to get through to completion, probably about 20 hours gameplay. And if you like the restocking elements of it and the management sides, and it being kind of a cross between a bit of a kind of plod and a cozy simulator, then yeah, this will be for you. Hope you found that useful. I do have other games on the channels, and at the moment there's quite a heavy focus on simulator games. They are in different formats, so I do have a couple of series, one of those being Recycling Centre Simulator. The other one was Hypermarket Simulator, and then I've also tried to pick some other games as I've gone along and just try and give some first impressions or hints and tips, and the main one there is Car Mechanic Simulator. It'd be great if you've enjoyed the video to give it a thumbs up, or to add anything in the comments there. If you've got further through in the game and there's more there to expect, or there's different hints and tips that you can pass on, that would be fantastic. And if you'd like to be notified as new content gets uploaded, then you can also hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.